The bell above the door gave a soft chime as another customer walked into Tony's diner. It was a quiet Tuesday morning just outside Chicago. The air smelled like bacon and fresh pancakes, and a Motown tune hummed gently from the corner jukebox. Emily wiped her hands on her apron and put on her usual warm smile. Her shift had just begun, and already her back ached from yesterday's long hours. Being a waitress wasn't easy. The money was barely enough, the tips were never guaranteed, and people's moods varied with the weather. But it paid the bills. Barely. Morning. Take a seat wherever you like, she greeted as a couple walked in, both dressed head to toe in designer clothes, sunglasses on indoors, and the kind of attitude that filled a room before they even spoke. The woman scrunched her nose as she looked around. Is this the only place in town that serves breakfast? Her husband gave a careless shrug. It'll do. I just need coffee. They chose a booth by the window. Emily grabbed her notepad and approached them with her practiced cheer. Hi there. What can I get you started with today? The woman didn't even look up from her phone. Coffee, and wipe down this table. It's sticky. Emily bit her tongue. She had just cleaned that table 5 minutes ago. Still, she nodded. Of course. As she wiped it again, the man leaned in close to his wife and said loudly enough for Emily to hear, This is why I tell people, stay in school, or you end up wiping tables for a living. They both chuckled. Emily didn't flinch, not on the outside, but her heart sank a little, like it always did when people looked at her and assumed they knew everything. She finished wiping the table and quietly took their order. They barely touched their food, but made sure to leave a mess, crumbs, syrup, half-spilled coffee, and when they walked out, they left no tip. Just a trail of laughter and smugness behind them. Emily stood by the counter watching them leave. Their words still echoed in her mind. Not because they hurt her deeply, but because something inside her shifted that day. She went home that evening to her small apartment and sat on the edge of her bed. It was silent, except for the hum of the fridge in the next room. She reached under the bed and pulled out an old notebook, the one she hadn't opened in almost 2 years. The cover was dusty, but inside were pages filled with dreams. A business plan for a boutique coffee shop, menu ideas, branding sketches, cost estimates. Emily turned each page slowly, memories rushing back. She used to be full of ambition. She had a business degree. She was engaged to the love of her life. They were saving up to open a cafe in the city, but just weeks before their wedding, he died in a car accident. The loss shattered her. Her world collapsed, and so did her plans. The investor who had been interested in backing her cafe idea pulled out, sensing her grief. The bills piled up. She moved back home, broken and lost. That's how she ended up working at Tony's. She had buried her dreams with her past. But now, flipping through the old notebook, she felt something she hadn't in a long time, hope. The next morning, she didn't go to work. She made a phone call instead to Mr. Jacobs, an old family friend who ran a small property business in town. He had once told her, "If you ever want to try again, I'll be your first call." He answered on the first ring. "Emily? Wow, it's been years. I always believed in your cafe idea." She explained everything, the accident, the pause, the fear. He listened quietly, then said, "Tony's Diner is up for sale. Owner's retiring. You already know the place inside out. What if you bought that instead of starting from scratch?" Emily was stunned. "I don't have the money," she admitted. "I'll finance most of it," he said. 80%. I believe in you. You just have to believe in yourself again." 2 weeks later, the papers were signed. Emily Thompson was now the proud owner of Tony's Diner. She didn't change the name right away. She kept the soul of the place, but she made it better. Cleaner interiors, upgraded menu, and most importantly, a better work culture. Her staff got breaks, they got respect, and every customer was expected to give the same. One night, she gathered her team and told them the news. "This place is ours now. We're going to make it something we're proud of." About 3 weeks later, the same rich couple walked in again. They didn't recognize Emily. Her hair was styled. She wore a smart blazer, not an apron. She stood at the counter, reviewing a supply order. "Excuse me," the woman said, holding her designer bag close. "Can we get a booth?" Emily smiled. "Of course, right this way." She led them to the same booth as last time. "I hope your experience today is better than your last visit here," she said with a calm, knowing smile. The woman paused. "Have we been here before?" Emily nodded. Yes, a few weeks ago. Still, they didn't remember her. They ordered. This time, she asked the kitchen to take their time. Eventually, the man grew impatient. Can we speak to the manager? He snapped. Emily walked over. You already are. The man blinked. Wait, you're the waitress from last time. The woman's mouth fell open. Emily kept her voice calm. Yes, and now I own this place. The silence was thick. They didn't know what to say. I hope everything is to your liking, she added. If not, there are plenty of other restaurants down the road. They stood up and left quietly, eyes lowered. This time, there was no laughter. Months passed, and word about Emily's diner spread. People loved the new atmosphere. She introduced a pay-it-forward breakfast program where customers could buy a meal for someone in need. She even started weekend workshops, helping young people with job prep, resumes, and interviews. One morning, a little girl came into the diner carrying a backpack and a folded piece of paper. Are you the owner? She asked. Emily nodded. The girl handed her the note. My mom says thank you for the free breakfast yesterday. She's trying to get a job and you made her feel important. Emily smiled through tears. This was what success felt like. Not the money, not the title, but the impact. She had gone from being just a waitress to becoming someone who lifted others up. And the people who once mocked her, they were just a passing memory. Never judge a person by the job they do. Behind every uniform is a dream, a struggle, and sometimes an incredible story waiting to be told. Emily Thompson was never just a waitress. She was always a boss. The world just hadn't seen it yet.